Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. All necessary steps being taken to boost economic growth, says Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman during short duration discussion on the economic situation in the country. Asserts that inflation is under control while FDI has increased. Lok Sabha passes SPG Amendment Bill 2019, SPG security to be provided only for Prime Minister and family members living with him at his official residence. Former Prime Ministers and families living in official residence to get SPG security for 5 years. Lower House also passes Electronic Cigarette Prohibition Bill 2019. Union Cabinet approves increase in authorized capital for Food Corporation of India from existing 3,500 crore rupees to 10,000 crore rupees. 100% jute-bagged packaging for all cereals. Extension of the tenure of the 15th Finance Commission. Post facto agreement on setting up Strategic Partnership Council between India and Saudi Arabia. BJP's poll manifesto for Jharkhand promises 33% reservation for women in government services, houses for poor families by 2022, concessions for farmers, youth and backward classes. Party also pledges loans up to 5 lakh rupees for OBC youth for self-employment at concessional rate. Cartosat-3 satellite capable of taking high-resolution photos successfully launched along with 13 US commercial nano-satellites from Sriharikota. Vice President and Prime Minister congratulate scientists. ISRO Chief K. Shivan says 13 more missions will be undertaken till March 2020. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Wednesday said that India's economic growth may have come down, but the country is not facing recession. Replying to a short duration discussion on the economic situation in the country in the Rajya Sabha, the Finance Minister added that the government has taken every decision in the interest of the country and is taking every necessary step to speed up the economic growth rate. Presenting numbers between 5 years under the Congress-led UPA-2 regime from 2009 to 2014 and BJP's first term from 2014 to 2019, she said that the inflation was lower and growth higher under the Modi government.
The steps that are being taken are taken in the interest of the country. So it could be that I will definitely refer for comparability's sake, some data. Every step that is pertaining to different sectors, whether it is MSME, whether it is banks, and so on. So 32 steps were taken across the board, which I review on a weekly basis, and many of which are showing definite results.
The Finance Minister said that there is a lot to improve on taxation front. She said several measures like recapitalization of banks, GST reforms and policy decisions have been taken to augment the economy. She added insolvency and bankruptcy code is yielding results and 70,000 crore rupees capital infusion in banks is seeing results in rise in liquidity.
Between 2014 and 19, the GDP accelerated 7.4% in 14-15, 8% in 15-16, 8.2 in 16-17, before the lagged effect of the twin balance sheet set in. And as a result, private investment started suffering because the NPAs were still alive in the banks. They didn't have additional money to go on investing further. The principal doesn't come, the interest doesn't get serviced. You are an NPA. With many number of NPAs, banks are no business to do because their core investment, which is money which has to go out, was not there with them. So recapitalization was essential in the interest of the country, and that's what the Prime Minister clearly has advised me to do, and therefore 70,000 crores were given to the banks. And that has helped. And that has helped, I'll tell you, that when people started telling there's no liquidity, people started telling liquidity is not there at all. With the help of Reserve Bank of India, I've met up with both the public sector banks and the private sector banks, proved that it was not for want of liquidity, but the flow of liquidity was not happening.
Meanwhile, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu expressed displeasure over the disruptions by opposition members during the Finance Minister's reply on the economic situation of the country in the Rajya Sabha.
The moment the minister started talking, you can't make running commentary or you can't express your disagreement with the minister. That's not the way. Please see to it that when you raise issues, and that to issues of such national importance, you must have the patience to hear the minister. And if still at the end of the reply of the minister, there is no rule that you should get satisfied, because sometimes you may not be satisfied, then the best way is walking out. That has been the accepted practice of parliamentary system in our country.
Earlier in the day, Congress MP Anand Sharma, while initiating a short-term discussion on the economic situation in the country, said the current slowdown could not be labelled as a cyclical phenomenon. Countering opposition's charges, BJP's Ashwini Vaishnav said the government has taken several measures to revive the economy and the country will soon have a solid growth rate. Derek O'Brien of the TMC urged the government to restore the confidence of the people and also the investors in the economy.
कितनी बार चेंजेस करनी पड़ी जीएसटी के रेट पे? सबसे कॉम्प्लेक्स जीएसटी we imposed on in a hurry, in a haste, which again further wrecked the unorganized sector. The small and micro enterprises, they were subjected to a huge compliance burden.
Household consumer expenditure report, it showed its decline for the first time in 40 years, consumption report. And we all know what Arvind Subramaniam ji said about the different hocus pocus while calculating GDP. Who else don't trust you? What is your trust quotient? What is your trust quotient with the states?
I have clear faith in India's future, sir. I have clear confidence in this country's resilience. I have clear belief in the resilience of our society and economy. I know that we have a government which responds, which changes, which doesn't sit silent, which actually takes steps, which are real steps.
मैं केवल इतना कहना चाहता हूं कि लगभग आर्थिक आपातकाल की स्थिति है। आप इस बात को रियलाइज करिए, सारी की सारी पार्टियां मिलकर के बैठें और इस देश को अंधेरे से बाहर निकालने का प्रयास करें।
Today, 60% of the manufacturing orders have dried up. They have all dried up in the post-demonetization and post-GST.
We need to work on structural changes. We need to work on reforms, which we need to work on improving governance, which we need to work on public finances. We must encourage private investment. We must allow entrepreneurship. All these issues are being addressed by the government currently.
And Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu made important observations to enhance the productivity and efficacy of the House on Wednesday.
On health and family welfare,
Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Wednesday urged members to maintain silence and observe punctuality.
I suggest to the members to come on time to the House and maintain, to the extent possible, silence, so that we will be sending a proper message. Don't think otherwise. I am making this comment at somebody. This is for general, because as the custodian of the House, I always feel worried whenever something goes wrong and then some reporting has been made outside and then image of the House is being discussed. That is my concern. Otherwise, I have no problem. You have got liberty. If there is something urgent to be discussed, you can go out to the lobby and discuss, complete the discussion, and then come inside the house also. That facility is always available.
He also congratulated the members for making articulate and concise zero-hour submissions.
I am really filled with joy, and really tears are coming to my ears. The way my members of this house today, the way they contributed, they made their points in a well-structured manner and articulated. This is the message I want this house to convey to the people on daily basis on every issue. Studying properly, coming here and articulating in a proper manner, highlighting the problems of their state or the communities or different sections of the people. That's really, today, I can't express it in words. I've been hearing everybody's speech, except a small this thing. It's really wonderful. We should maintain these traditions and all. And moreover, this zero hour is not to make allegations and counter allegations. That is, there is separate this thing. But zero hour is only to highlight certain things to bring to the notice of the government and to the country. That's why I don't allow anybody to take the names of others and then make charges and counter charges. The purpose will be defeated. That has to be noted. Keep it up.
Reminding members that Rajya Sabha, being the House of Elders, has an added responsibility, the chairman said that all members must adhere to the established rules and procedures. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The General Purposes Committee of Rajya Sabha has been reconstituted. The Rajya Sabha chairman has nominated names of 29 MPs for the committee. The chairman himself heads this committee. The panel consists of Deputy Chairman Harivansh, Leader of the House Thawar Chand Gehlot, Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad, and Vice Chairman panel member Satyanarayan Jatia, along with other senior members. This committee considers and advises on such matters that are periodically referred to it by the chairman himself. The BJP on Wednesday nominated its General Secretary Arun Singh as its Rajya Sabha candidate from Uttar Pradesh. The party also nominated Congress rebel K.C. Ramamurthy as its candidate from Karnataka. By-election to the two Rajya Sabha seats will be held on 12 December. The Special Protection Group Amendment Bill 2019 was passed by Lok Sabha on Wednesday. Home Minister Amit Shah replied to the discussion on the bill, saying that after the amendment, SPG protection will be given to the current Prime Minister and members of his immediate family residing with him at his official residence. SPG will also provide security to former Prime Ministers and his immediate family members residing with him at the residence allotted to him for a period of 5 years. Eminent SPG commandos are responsible for the security of the Prime Minister of the country, their families, former Prime Ministers, as well as their family members. This protection is provided on the basis of security hazards.
एसपीजी के जो सुरक्षा कर्मी हैं वो कोई बाहर से नहीं आते, स्वर्ग से नहीं आते, वो सीआरपीएफ की ही कुछ जवान होते हैं, वो बीएसएफ के ही कुछ जवान होते हैं, वो अन्य एजेंसी के ही कुछ जवान होते हैं। वो स्पेशल प्रोटेक्शन ग्रुप बना है जिसमें अनेक सुरक्षा बलों के जवान इकट्ठा होकर एक एजेंसी बनती है। मैंने पहले भी कहा कि स्पेशल प्रोटेक्शन ग्रुप ये प्रधानमंत्री जी की न केवल व्यक्तिगत सुरक्षा, उनकी ऑफिस, उनके कम्युनिकेशन, उनके निवास पर उनके काम करने का जगह, उनका आरोग्य, ये सारी चीजों की चिंता करने के लिए बना है और इसीलिए इसका नाम स्पेशल प्रोटेक्शन ग्रुप रखा है। और ये आगे बताते थे अब बदला तब बदला, 5 बार बदल हुए, 5 बार बदल मुझे कहने में कोई झिझक नहीं है। रिकॉर्ड पर एक परिवार को ध्यान में रखकर किए गए हैं ये 5 बार बदल, पहली बार बदल।
And the Lok Sabha also passed the Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu Merger of Union Territories Bill 2019. The bill provides for the merger of Union territories of Dadra and Nagar Haveli as well as Daman and Diu. It provides for better delivery of services to citizens of both these UTs by improving efficiency and reduction in paperwork and administrative expenditure. The bill also brings uniformity in policy and schemes. Both Union territories are located in the western region of the country. Dadra and Nagar Haveli has just one district, while Daman and Diu has two. Replying to the debate on the bill, Union Minister G. Kishan Reddy said that currently administrators shuttle between the two union territories on specific days, which creates problems for administrative functioning. The minister said the merger was decided to improve delivery services to the people.
एसटी का रिजर्वेशन ऐसी रहेगा, संविधान के आधार पर जो रिजर्वेशन होगा एससी का हो, एसटी का हो, एससी का हो, वो रिजर्वेशन वैसे ही लागू होगा, उसमें कोई बदलाव नहीं लाएंगे। ये कैपिटल होगा, इसका कैपिटल का नाम होगा दादरा नगर हवेली एंड दामन दयू। इसका नाम पूरा एक यूटी का नाम होगा और सबसे ज्यादा इस विकास के विषय पर आने वाले दिन में ध्यान देना चाहिए। इसका प्रपोजल दोनों यूटी से भी आया, यूटी के अधिकारी, यूटी के जनता के तरफ से ही ये प्रपोजल आया। इधर दिल्ली में बैठ के हम नहीं किया है, उधर से प्रपोजल आया। वो प्रपोजल के आधार पर सरकार ये कदम उठाए, ये भी आप लोगों को बताना चाहता हूं।
Prohibition of Electronic Cigarettes Bill 2019 has been passed by the Lok Sabha. The bill seeks to prohibit the production, trading, transportation, storage and advertising of e-cigarettes. Violation can lead to imprisonment of up to 1 year or fine of 1 lakh rupees or both. Subsequent violations will invite imprisonment of up to 3 years and a fine of up to 5 lakh rupees. In his reply to the discussion, Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that the high number of youth in India are lucrative targets for e-cigarette companies. So this bill was a preemptive strike. Storing of e-cigarettes will also be punished with imprisonment of up to 6 months or a fine of up to 50,000 rupees or both.
I have broadly explained why we thought it as an emergent measure to bring about a legislation to ban e-cigarettes in the country, why we had to do it in the form of an ordinance, and I would seek the indulgence of the honorable members of the parliament to the same extent and in the same spirit in which they have addressed this debate, because all of you were unanimous in one fact that we must do the extreme possible to actually ensure that we curb, eliminate, eradicate this tobacco menace in this country and help the whole world fight, strengthen the fight against the tobacco companies, which it has been doing so aggressively since 2002.
On to some other news now. The government on Wednesday increased the authorized capital of Food Corporation of India to 10,000 crore rupees from 3,500 crore rupees, paving the way for additional equity infusion in the state-owned firm. The decision would also help the FCI, the government's nodal agency for procurement and distribution of food grains, in reducing its debt and interest cost. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved increasing the authorized capital of the FCI. The centre is providing equity to the FCI for maintaining stocks. The Union Cabinet also extended the term of 15th Finance Commission by 1 year to October 30th, 2020. The Commission is expected to submit its interim report on Saturday. The extension of the term will enable the Commission to examine various comparable estimates for financial projections in view of reforms and the new realities to finalize its recommendations for the period 2020 to 2026. The Finance Commission decides on division of tax and other resources between the centre and the states. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs also accorded its approval for mandatory packaging of food grains and sugar in jute material for the year 2019-20. The decision of the Cabinet mandates that 100% of the food grains and 20% of the sugar shall be mandatorily packed in diversified jute bags. And the cabinet also approved the allotment of 1,800 square meters of land belonging to the Airport Authority of India for the construction of a ceremonial lounge at Tirupati Airport. The land will be given to the Andhra Pradesh Education and Welfare Infrastructure Development Corporation for a period of 15 years at a license fee of ₹1 per annum. India wants BIMSTEC nations to attach more importance to maritime cooperation to face emerging challenges. Stating India's position at a meeting of a BIMSTEC think tank, Dr. Virendra Paul, Joint Secretary with the Foreign Ministry, said the grouping should increase its ambit to cover more concerned areas of the member countries. He was speaking at the inaugural session of the two-day-long BIMSTEC think tank meeting organized by the Vivekananda International Foundation in Delhi on Wednesday. While member nations are enthusiastic about the future of BIMSTEC, given India's growing interest in it, they feel India needs to be more proactive to consolidate it as a viable grouping. Member nations also feel there is a need to build trust and also understand each individual ambitions.
India has always emphasized collaboration and inclusion when we deal with these issues, whether maritime security, domain awareness, and general maritime concerns and threats. We are at the same time very acutely mindful of that maritime security in our region is vital for judicious and sustainable use of maritime resources.
BIMSTEC is like an extended Indian cultural families, and it is comparatively hassle-free without any confrontationist attitude among the nations. It is good that it should be developed and consolidated for good of every BIMSTEC nation. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha television with camera person Jitendra Negi in Delhi.
In fact, my colleague Akhilesh Suman also spoke exclusively to Secretary General of BIMSTEC, Ambassador M. Shahidul Islam, who is also a senior diplomat of Bangladesh. So let's listen in to him on the prospects of the BIMSTEC grouping.
Ambassador Shahidul Islam is the Secretary General of BIMSTEC. Ambassador, how do you see the future of BIMSTEC?
I find the future of BIMSTEC is good, bright, because when BIMSTEC was established, 5 member states from SAARC and 2 member states from ASEAN, they participated. So to bring additionality to the existing bilateral, regional and international cooperation involving the member states. And the question is that BIMSTEC is becoming more relevant. Right. We are very happy that we are proving ourselves relevant to the member states in the area of trade investment. We are negotiating the BIMSTEC FTA.
That is what I was trying to come to, that what are the gelling factors, because you had also worked in SAARC, but what is the different gelling factor that BIMSTEC countries can gel well and better than SAARC?
I think there are certain areas where BIMSTEC enjoys comparative advantage. One is the geographical location, which is between South Asia and Southeast Asia, so it can really act as a bridge between these two thriving regions by expanding physical, economic and people-to-people connectivity.
That whether you are also discussing and trying to cooperate on the issue of mutual security and terrorism?
We are having robust mechanism to deal with terrorism and transnational crime. Already BIMSTEC signed a convention on cooperation against international terrorism, transnational organized crime and drug trafficking in this area. And
are BIMSTEC countries also talking about economic cooperation among the grouping?
I'm happy you asked this question because basically BIMSTEC was founded to create environment for rapid economic growth, and This is an area which is very, very important to really keep all the member states glued together. And the first important step towards that will be to have the BIMSTEC free trade area negotiation to be completed and to establish a BIMSTEC free trade area. Negotiations are going on and we are hoping that at least the trade in goods agreement will be finalized soon.
So this was Secretary General of BIMSTEC, and he is telling that though he is satisfied with India's role in BIMSTEC, but given the fact that India is the biggest country in BIMSTEC, it may do more. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Jitendra Negi in Delhi.
The BJP on Wednesday released its manifesto for Jharkhand elections, promising job for at least one member of every below the poverty line family in the state if re-elected to power. Union Minister and senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad released the manifesto, pledging to provide financial assistance to high school students hailing from backward and poor families. Every student of classes 9 and 10 will receive 2,200 rupees and that of classes 11 and 12 rupees 7,500 as scholarships. Besides, the party has also resolved to create job opportunities for the local youth if it forms government in the state again. It also assured a loan of up to 5 lakh rupees for tribal women running self-help groups. And ISRO successfully launched India's latest Earth observation satellite, Cartosat-3, on Wednesday morning. Cartosat-3 is ISRO's third-generation satellite having high-resolution imaging capability. The satellite was launched on board PSLV C-47 rocket along with 13 other commercial nano-satellites from the United States from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Andhra Pradesh, Sriharikota.
I am extremely happy to declare that PSLV C-47 precisely injected Cartosat-3 and 13 customer satellites successfully in the desired orbit of 509 kilometers. Cartosat-3 is the Indian highest resolution civilian spacecraft. It is also a most complex and advanced Earth observation satellite ISRO has built so far. We are having 13 missions up to March. These 13 missions comprises of the 6 launch vehicle missions and 7 satellite missions we are targeting before March. Our hands are full. As usual, the team ISRO will rise to the occasion and meet the challenges and requirements and make every mission a grand success.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu congratulated ISRO for the successful launch of Cartosat-3 satellite. Also congratulating ISRO on the achievement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that this was yet another successful launch of PSLV C-47 carrying indigenous Cartosat-3 satellite and over a dozen nano-satellites of America. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time.